What if I told you the next great global power struggle isn't happening where we all expect it to? Not in some hot, dusty conflict zone, but on a vast, frozen island that, let's be honest, most of us have pretty much ignored. An island buried under miles of ice, seemingly silent, empty. Well, that island is Greenland, and it's about to become the center of everything. You probably remember this. Back in 2019, when the US president floated the idea of buying it, the world just kind of laughed, right? It was a punchline on late-night shows, this totally bizarre headline that seemed to come out of nowhere and had no basis in reality. But here's the thing. That wasn't just some crazy idea. Behind all the jokes was a cold, hard, strategic calculation, and it accidentally pulled back the curtain on this quiet, high-stakes scheme that's reshaping our world. So the real question is, why? Why is this massive sheet of ice suddenly one of the most important places on Earth? All right, so here's our game plan. We'll start with that so-called absurd deal. Then we're going to look at the incredible treasure hidden under the ice. We'll talk about how the Arctic thaw is literally redrawing the map, creating a brand new global chessboard. Then we'll get into Greenland's huge choice for its own future and wrap it all up with what this means for the future of global power itself. Okay, so first, let's just get into why the whole idea sounded so strange to begin with. For basically all of modern history, Greenland has been way, way out on the margins of global affairs. It was seen as this remote, desolate place. I mean, just to put it in perspective for you, this is the world's largest island, but its entire population could fit inside a small-town football stadium. Fewer than 60,000 people, and 80% of it is covered by a massive ice sheet. Now, it governs itself, but for a long time, it's really relied on fishing and financial help from Denmark just to get by. For decades, it was frozen, both literally and figuratively. But that is changing, and it's changing fast. And the reason it's all changing is because of what's hidden from view. See, the real story here isn't about the ice you see on the surface. It's about the unbelievable wealth that's buried just beneath it. And the crown jewel of that wealth? Something called rare earth minerals. Now, the name's a little misleading. They're not rare because there aren't a lot of them. They're rare because they're incredibly difficult and expensive to mine and process. You might not think about them much, but trust me, our modern world absolutely cannot function without them. We're not talking about some abstract chemical elements here. These things are the literal backbone of our entire high-tech world. The smartphone in your pocket, electric cars, the giant wind turbines powering our grid, and yeah, even the most advanced military gear like fighter jets and missile guidance systems. None of it, not a single piece works without these minerals. So the billion-dollar question is, who controls this stuff? Well, right now, as you can see, one country pretty much has the market cornered. China dominates, producing around 70% of the global supply. And that gives them incredible leverage over every other advanced economy on the planet, which is exactly why the race to find other sources isn't just a business plan, it's become a matter of national security. And Greenland? It's sitting on one of the biggest untapped stashes in the world. But wait, there's more. The treasure hunt doesn't stop with rare earths. Geologists believe there are huge oil and gas reserves just offshore. And maybe, just maybe, the most important resource for the coming century? Greenland's ice sheet holds one of the planet's largest reserves of fresh water, an asset that is only going to get more valuable. So if all this incredible wealth has been sitting there for thousands of years, why the sudden gold rush? The answer is the single biggest agent of change in our lifetimes, the climate. The Great Arctic Thaw isn't just an environmental story, it is a geopolitical earthquake. As that ice melts, two critical things happen. One, the land and all those resources we just talked about are physically uncovered, making it possible to actually get to them for the very first time. And two, brand new shipping lanes are opening up across the Arctic, shortcuts that could totally change global trade and military strategy. All of a sudden, Greenland isn't isolated anymore. It's becoming a hub. And anytime you have access, you get competition. Suddenly, this island nobody thought about is a central square on a new global chessboard. And all the major powers are lining up to make their move. And this brings us right back to that 2019 offer. When you look at it through this lens, it suddenly makes perfect, cold, logical sense. It wasn't about buying a piece of land. It was a bold, calculated move to lock down a dominant strategic position for the next 100 years, to control geography, resources, and influence over the entire Arctic region. And the US already has a huge stake in the game. Thule Air Base up in northern Greenland is one of America's most vital overseas military bases. It's the eyes and ears of the early warning system for ballistic missiles, constantly watching Russia and keeping track of objects in space. From a geographic standpoint, it's absolutely irreplaceable. But the US is not playing on an empty board, not by a long shot. The other big players have their own game plans. The US wants to maintain its grip through its military presence. China, which cleverly calls itself a near-Arctic power, is playing the long game, patiently offering to invest in things like airports and mines to slowly buy influence. And Russia? They're being much more direct, reopening old Cold War military bases to control the northern sea routes. Now, all of this leads us to the people who are actually at the center of this storm, the Greenlanders themselves. For them, this isn't some abstract geopolitical game. This is a massive, nation-defining choice about their future, a choice between real independence and foreign influence. And this is their fundamental dilemma. It's a real catch-22. To get true economic independence and finally break away from needing support from Denmark, they have to get huge amounts of foreign cash to build all the mines, ports, and roads they need. But every single dollar of that investment comes with strings attached. Every contract they sign, whether it's with the US or China, risks giving up a little bit of control to an outside power. It's this incredible tension between self-determination and dependency. So what does this all mean for the rest of us? Well, the story of Greenland isn't really just about one island. It's the perfect showcase of a whole new model of global competition that is quietly taking over. See, in this new era, power isn't just about who has the biggest army anymore. It's about who controls the essential resources and the supply chains that everybody else needs to survive. It's about who controls the off switch. This is about achieving dominance through access and dependency, not just through brute force. The next global conflict might not start with a bank. It might start with a supply chain disruption, a sudden mineral shortage. These battles are being fought right now, not on battlefields, but in boardrooms and government offices, through contracts, regulations, and very quiet negotiations. Which leaves us with one last massive question. The whole idea of buying Greenland was always a distraction. The real question is so much bigger. As the ice melts and a new world is literally uncovered, who is going to write the rules for it? Who will control its resources? And ultimately, who will get to shape the future that is emerging from beneath the ice?